welcome back to Beyond the School Gate. For those of you who are new around here, my name is Ruth and I started this podcast to amplify the voices of women in leadership so we can come on here and talk about the good, the bad and the funny. And today I actually have a co-host. Woo! For those of you who don't know, this is my husband Ahmed. Welcome to the podcast.
Not sure what I'm doing here about women in leadership, but
I roped him in last minute. I just sprung it on him. I decided I was going to do a husband series. So we're going to do 3 episodes together, maybe more. You have to comment if you're watching on YouTube down below or send me a DM on Instagram. If you enjoy males' take on women in leadership positions and what we do beyond the school gate. I think it'll be interesting to get your take on a couple of the topics that we've got to talk about today. So without further ado, we'll dive right on in.
yes.
Cool. So today's topic is about tooting your own horn. It was submitted on Instagram. I've taken the assumption that they're talking about how to deal with people who toot their own horn within the workplace. But we could talk about it, I suppose, in
From both angles.
from more broader.
Yeah, tooting your own horn,
Yeah.
as in yourself, and also other people tooting their own horns. And how you deal
Yes.
with that.
I didn't even think of it in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So, what are your thoughts on tooting your own horn
I
then?
thought you were gonna go first. I'm not somebody that toots I don't feel like I'm somebody that toots my own horn. So I was very interested in that to talk about that topic, just because I don't feel like I toot my own horn. Because I just want to do my job. I just want to do what is you're supposed to do. Because as much as I feel like people want recognition for it, is I'm giving my time and I'm being paid for my time. So whether I toot my own horn or not, I've been rewarded for the time that I'm giving.
Yeah, right.
So that's how I've always looked at it. So it's very difficult to kind of look what I've done, look at the thing that I've done. But it sometimes depends on who it is as well. So if it's with certain people, I would, I guess, toot my own horn.
Okay.
But yeah, in general, I try not to.
I read this thing online where it said recognition is the biggest form of motivation, or recognition motivates people. But I think it's interesting because what I was hearing from what you were saying was that that's not a driver for you. People recognizing you or what you do or your ability.
Not necessarily. No, it's not in the forefront of why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Is I do it because 1, I enjoy it, and 2, I see the difference it makes to the people that I do it for and with. So when I see that, I'm like, okay, that's recognition enough. And I guess if you're doing if you're doing a great job, you don't have to toot your own horn. Other people will.
I think the same thing. Yeah. So people will see what you're doing.
And they will then say, look at that good thing that person's doing over there.
Yep.
And so I don't have to worry about, I don't feel like I have to worry about tooting my own horn. Yeah.
See, I don't know. Again, I don't know. You might correct me if I'm wrong. I think sometimes I do toot my own horn, and then sometimes I don't. I feel like because I grew up in a household where I got positive reinforcement. Does that make sense? I never felt like it was something that was lacking for me. So I don't necessarily go out and am I doing a good job, or put people in positions. I've been put in positions where people have told me how great they are, and then it's they're almost waiting on me to agree and to be like, oh my god, yeah, you're so great.
Okay.
But then I engage my adolescent brain, and then I don't want to tell you. So you could be phenomenal, but the fact that you've told me how great you are and now you're waiting on me to confirm it, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I feel backed into a corner, and then I feel like even if I feel it, I feel like I'm being disingenuous.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I want to see it and be like, oh my god, when you did this thing, I want to do it off my own back, because I feel like that would mean more to the person. Yeah. But maybe not. Maybe they could care less.
And I mean, looking at it from another perspective as well, like as a like team leader, manager, there are some times where I want to use my experiences to to highlight something.
Yeah, that's true.
But I hold myself back from doing it because it feels like you're tooting your own horn and you're singing your own praises. Oh, look how great I am because I did this thing. But
you're trying to tell them because you're trying to prove that this thing works. Trust me, I've done it before and use an example. Yeah. So you're doing it to build trust as opposed
to tooting my own horn and trying to make myself look like I'm this great thing. And so I sometimes hold back and try not to say because it just feels like, but look at me, I did this thing that day and it was great.
So how do you feel then if somebody backs you into a corner and comes and tells you, oh my God, I'm so great, and like literally singing their own praises? What do you do in those situations?
I smile and nod.
Oh, you're like...
Yeah, I'm smile and nod.
Oh, wow, you've done that to me. You've done that to me. You've done that to me a couple of times. Wow.
No.
The violation is real.
Never for you. No, I smile and nod just because you don't know how hard that person's worked on that thing.
Yeah,
you don't know how hard or how much that person needs that recognition right there and then.
True.
There are some people who feel like they do a lot for what they get paid. Like, even though I'm saying that you get paid for the job that you're doing, some people feel like they go over and above what they are paid for.
Yeah.
So they feel that recognition is something that they need to keep motivating them to go.
Okay.
So I don't know. So when somebody is, when I feel like somebody's tooting their own horn, I smile and then I nod and then I recognize and I say, well done. And
do you feel like there's a difference between do you think there's a difference between the UK and here in regards to people tooting their own horn?
I felt that there was a difference. In the UK, it feels like people just get on with things. They just try to. It feels like I'm too busy to even think about tooting my own horn. Don't get me wrong. There are people who do it.
Yeah.
But it feels like in the main people are just getting on with what they need to do.
That one of the biggest culture shocks when we moved here was I thought the first job that I had here, people were like tooting their own horns and like telling you all of their successes. And I thought, oh, they're doing it because I'm new. So it was almost like a verbal CV.
Yes.
And I thought, oh, because then I'm new to the country, I'm new to the sector. They were trying to like paint a picture for me as to like what they've done, and it was like for my benefit.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
So you can know.
So I can know, that's how you fit in. Oh, that's what you've done. And it's like, I thought they were doing it as a learning opportunity to help me acclimatise, etc., etc. And then I was like, okay. And then it went on for 6 months and then 18 months. And I just thought, that's just the culture this place that I work.
Yeah.
They've just got this little mini ecosystem, and that's just how they are as an organisation. Okay, no harm, no foul. Like, no drama. It's just, it is what it is. It's an observation. Then I went to my second job and the same thing happened. And I was like, oh. And then I just was like used to it. But then I went to my third job. And then I was asking the woman who worked in HR at the time, because I think she is from Australia, but she spent a lot of time in the UK.
Okay.
So she was asking me like, what's the biggest thing? And I said, there's a lot of verbal CVs, is something I've noticed. And she said this is a very Canberra thing.
Oh.
She said it's a status thing in Canberra that everybody wants to tell everybody like how good they are, because and it's a very Canberra thing, because she grew up I think in Victoria. So she was saying it was different where she grew up and where she worked before. And we've never worked anywhere other than Canberra. I'm like, that was an interesting comment by an Aussie. I thought, I wonder if it's like that elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I guess that's that makes sense, because if a lot of people get jobs through word of mouth as well, the verbal CV makes sense, because I'm telling you everything I've done. So when you're in a position where a job comes up that you know somebody who's already giving you their CV. You're like, oh, I know the right person for that. Like, you can connect somebody.
Yeah, I know, they know my name.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can connect them to that. Yeah. So I guess I can get it.
Yeah.
And I've met a few people who do give a CV of the things that they've done, but I mean, in the main, I haven't come across too many. Yeah, I haven't come across too many in the job that I'm at now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel though when people do it? Do you feel? Sometimes I feel sorry for people. Do you feel that, or like?
No.
Because I'm like, if you have to say like how great you're doing, I suspect like nobody else is telling you that. So then I feel bad, and then those times I probably will be like, yeah, you're doing great, like, and give them that reinforcement.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for them. As I said right at the beginning, is you applied for a role, you are going to give your time to that role, and that role is going to give you money so it's a mutual exchange.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, if you are giving your time for free, you know, then I can see why you would want that, you know, people to see what I'm doing, because I'm doing something. It's selfless.
Yeah.
Like, my job is not selfless. I'm getting paid for it. I'm not doing it for free. I would love to get paid more for it. You know.
So you're saying your pay is your recognition.
That's your recognition.
Not somebody saying you did a great job.
You did a great job.
Hello.
And if you weren't doing a great job, you will be fired.
That's true. Maybe not.
Yeah, no.
Depends where you work.
Somebody will come and tell you you're not doing a great job.
That's true.
So my recognition every day is that somebody's not coming up to me and telling me,
you're so sweet.
you know, you need to change this, you need to change that.
Yeah.
And I guess every now and then you do get recognition, and I think for me it feels more special when, you know, it's a time where you're not expecting it, and then somebody comes and says, oh, that thing that you did, that was.
And that's why I don't just dish it out willy-nilly, because I feel like it's not special. Yeah,
and for me as well, it's external agencies are what I look at.
Oh, okay.
Like, Will and I developed this thing at work, and it was when somebody from external came in and said, oh my gosh, like, you guys did this all by yourselves, and I was like, yep. We started it from scratch, and we built it and put all the data in and all that. And it made other people's lives easier. It made other people's jobs easier in a way. So the recognition came from somebody else coming in to see it, and they're like, oh my gosh, whoa, this thing is amazing. But when you're within the work itself, it's hard for other people to see what you're
the value of it
there and then, because they're in the thick of it and things are stressful and you're just trying to get your job done.
Do you know what? And it's going to be a separate episode, and I don't think it's one that we're going to cover within the husband series, but I will be doing an episode on people being ungrateful within the workplace.
Okay.
That's something that somebody else has suggested on Instagram as a topic.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, you kind of touched on it there. Because I think that's such an interesting concept, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because as I said, you get paid for what you're doing, but then you don't appreciate it, even though interesting. Oh, well, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you for appearing. It wasn't that painful, was it? Yeah, it was. No, it was fine. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you guys for following, and thank you so much for all the positive reinforcement that you're giving on Instagram and in the comment section below. Like I said on previous videos, really trying to create a little community. So please put down below some comments and some feedback, and also some topics that you would like either me to cover on my own, or me and Ahmed to cover together, or if you have someone specific who you think I should slide in their DMs and see if I can get them on, that would be cool. Not sliding in anyone's DMs. Just sliding their DMs for you.
That's how I got a couple of guests though.
That's true.
That's how I got Chloe from Nala.
Yeah.
I just reached out, and there's a couple of other guests coming up that I've kind of got in the same way. So.
And that was your word for
the year.
The year.
Fearless.
Fearless.
That's it. It's we're over halfway through the year, and it's proven successful. So
just keep it going.
Keep it going. Thanks, guys. Bye.